Hello, welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV where Titanic references never go out of style. That's right, I'm talking about X on the Beach, Peak of Love, episode 12, and this is an episode of Last. Last week we had the last ice ceremony. This week we have the last X coming into the chalet. We have the last fire ceremony, and we have the last party. And let me tell you, this last everything is one for the books, as there is a ton of drama happening in this episode. Starting this episode off with Tyranny and Amari, and Amari has this like little personal spa day happening in the chalet for Tyranny. They seem to be doing fantastically well. The other couples that seem to be doing fantastically well are Callum and Georgia. We have Ryan and Magdalena, who we did not see very much in this episode, but they seem like they're doing fine. Nicole and Ashley, which we saw for a brief couple of seconds on our TV screens. We also got to know that Sam and Paris are doing fantastically well, even though we did not see Paris whatsoever in this episode. Jemmy is just chilling. And now let's get into what's happening in the bigger plot points of this episode. And we're gonna start off with the three people picked to go down to the peak to see whose ex is going to be coming into the chalet, who is the last ex coming into the chalet. And the three people picked are Todd, Sam Bed, and Allie. And the only one that's not okay with an ex coming into this house is Allie. So you know what that means. Allie's ex is going to be coming into the chalet, and his name is Cameron Sykes. Now, they met on Temptation Island. However, this is where this show is reaching. Oh, it's pulling out its hand to just try to grab any ex and bring him into this house, because this is technically not an ex. This is the person that Allie met on Temptation Island. They got really close, and now Cameron is coming into the chalet to break through that friend zone label and become something more. And despite sharing a kiss in the jacuzzi, and despite having a little pillow fort, Allie says, "No thank you, I'm gonna stick with Niall" at the winter ball party, and leaves Cameron cold and out in the snow and heartbroken. And this is where I'm like, why did we have a non-ex come on X on the Beach? That doesn't make any sense, but maybe he was the only one that said yes. Now let's go on to the next plot point happening in this episode, and that was between Adore, Trenton, and Tyler. Before Trenton came into this house, Tyler and Adore were moving in a good positive direction, a good positive pace, until Trenton came in last episode, and mainly their relationship was online. And now that they're in the chalet, Trenton and Adore are one-on-one. They're really secluding themselves away from everybody else. And all Trenton wants to really do is wrestle Adore. And I don't say that in an innuendo kind of way. I mean that they're literally wrestling in the middle of this living room in front of everybody. It's kind of weird, but hey, do whatever it is that makes y'all happy. At the winter ball party, however, Tyler found his opening to go talk to Danny/Adore and see where his head's at. Hey, what about us? Tyler and Adore, where's that storyline? Is that completely severed off? Are you totally into Trenton, or is there still something there for us? Then Trenton came back, was super jealous, super protective. Adore was like, hey, give me some space. Trenton gets super pissed, walks off, punches the bathroom shower wall. After a gal pal talk, that's when Adore and Trenton were talking in the shower, and Trenton's like, look, I didn't come here to be in a competition. I think everybody hates me anyways. I don't like it here. I'm just gonna go. If this is not gonna be just one-on-one, and you really like some other person, I'm not gonna fight for you. I'm just gonna go. And that's where he says, peace out, Girl Scout, and leaves the chalet after coming in last episode, halfway through last episode. Now let's go into the final main plot point of this episode, and that was between Todd, Marlon, and Demi. At the beginning of this episode, Demi was going on an apology tour around the chalet for what she said at the previous ice ceremony, at last week's ice ceremony, and she was talking to Marlon, and Marlon was being a good friend. He was being a shoulder to cry on. He was trying to build up Demi. However, Todd was not having any of it, as when he came into the chalet, Marlon said, "You're my number one priority." However, Todd is like, Marlon's not acting like I'm his number one priority. However, we're gonna put Marlon to the test in this episode when we are voting on the last fire ceremony and getting to pick one person to go on a date with somebody else. Everybody votes for Marlon to go on this date, and now he has to choose. Who is he going to choose in the chalet to take on this date with him? And essentially it's between Todd and Demi. And he decides to go with Demi. He wants to go on a date with Demi, and Todd is instantly hurt. He is instantly pissed. This turns into a big blowout in the hallway, and then we go on to the date where Demi and Marlon are going onto a yacht. They're having a good time. They're having a good talk. They're doing some Titanic references, and they make out. They come back to the chalet all happy and giddy and really in a positive light and hopeful for their relationship in the future to come. But Todd is not having any of this, but he is still going to give them their space. Now, fast forward to the winter ball, and the party's going well. People are having their good times. They decide to move the party to the jacuzzi. So there are a bunch of people in this jacuzzi talking, having a good time, and that's when someone poses a question to Marlon about having a threesome with people in the chalet, and who would he pick to have a threesome with. And Marlon decides to say two names that are not Demi, and Demi is in the jacuzzi with everybody right across from Marlon, and when he says those two names, Demi gets instantly reactionary, kisses Sam, which kind of pisses Marlon off, which turns into a big blowout later in the episode when everybody is trying to go to bed. There's another big blowout between Demi and Marlon, and this is where I laughed the hardest out of, I think I've ever laughed on an X on the Beach episode, and that was when they're having their heated argument. Niall is back there doing his best Arnold Schwarzenegger pump and iron impersonation back there. It was so funny. It was amazing. It made the episode perfection. I don't know how Demi and Marlon stayed focused on yelling at each other so intensely with this happening on the bed right around them. But the episode ends off with Demi marching off away from Marlon, and that's when Todd comes in to try to swoop in, and Marlon starts going off on Todd. And this episode ends with so many people yelling at each other, and there's so many fights happening, and there's only more to come as the lie detector scenes are going to be coming in the next episode or the episode after. That's when people are going to feel betrayed and hurt, and it's going to be hopefully amazing television. But what do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think about the whole Marlon, Demi, Todd thing? Do you think Allie made the right decision by picking Niall over this Cameron guy? And out of everybody in the chalet who's paired up right now, who do you think has the best shot to be stuck together forever? And maybe that's not the best wording, but who do you think has the best shot of staying together forever? Let me know that in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with a ton more videos. I have a ton of challenge content coming out very, very soon. I got Challenge Brief History, Challenge Fantasy Cast videos, and I have some top 10 and top 5s coming very, very soon. I got Survivor review and recaps every Thursday. And join me next week for another X on the Beach review and recap. And I got tons more general videos coming your way. Keep your eyes peeled, but thank you so much for watching. And until then, peace.